Do you have a full-time job? Most of you probably do. And I'd imagine that the idea of starting a business where you're making money on Fiverr might get you thinking about things like, how am I going to balance Fiverr with my full-time job, right? I actually got asked this exact question in the comment section of one of my recent YouTube videos. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about the mindset, the organizational strategies, and the Fiverr gig strategies you can implement to help you better manage your Fiverr business alongside your full-time job. This video is aimed at helping new Fiverr sellers who are looking to take on Fiverr as a side hustle alongside their 9-to-5 or full-time job. So if I missed something or if you found this video helpful, leave me a comment. Would love to chat with you in the comment section after the video. And really quick, if you find this video helpful and you want to see more videos like this, you should really consider subscribing. I put out a couple of videos per week, and if you want to make sure that you don't miss a video, you should consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. All right, so the first part of this video is going to be focused on mindset. Having the right expectations and the right mindset for yourself on what Fiverr is and where it should slot into your life is pretty important to figuring out where Fiverr sits on your life priority list. And that's important, an important thing to consider as a Fiverr seller. For a lot of us, me included, Fiverr is a side hustle. So when I'm thinking about things as it relates to Fiverr, all things are being thought of under the umbrella of Fiverr being a side hustle, right? If I were to break down what my mindset about Fiverr is made up of, here are some of the things I think of. I want Fiverr to help me make extra money. I want Fiverr to help me fill my spare time with something productive to do. I want Fiverr to help me improve my writing skills because I offer copywriting and content writing services on Fiverr. I want Fiverr to help me gain experience by helping people and businesses all over the world. That's my mindset on Fiverr. And if you're watching this and you're like, Mike, why do we care about a mindset when it comes to Fiverr? We just want to know how to balance Fiverr with our full-time jobs. Well, listen up, because this mindset piece is going to translate into something important that's going to help you do that. The point is, for people who are looking at Fiverr as a side hustle, having a clear mindset of what you want from it is going to be your guiding compass to make sure that you're getting what you need out of Fiverr and doing what you need to do with Fiverr, but not letting it overrun other aspects of your life. So once you have an understanding of what your mindset is when it comes to Fiverr, this next part of the video is going to talk about how you can translate that mindset into some organizational strategies that'll help you find more time to complete your Fiverr gigs and not have that time overlap with your 9-to-5 job or other personal life commitments. So let's get into it. All right, so the second part of this video is going to focus on organization and time management strategies that you can apply to help balance Fiverr with your job. So if you're watching this and you're considering doing Fiverr and you have a 9-to-5 job, I'm assuming that time is something of a concern for you, right? Otherwise, why are you watching this video? Your full-time job is obviously your main priority. So when you're getting into Fiverr, you don't want to let it creep in and take away from that, right? You don't want it to compromise your 9-to-5. So this first strategy that I'm going to tell you that's going to help you better manage Fiverr time with work time isn't rocket science, but it's super important. And what it is time blocking. Time blocking is when you block out certain time blocks in your calendar each week that is dedicated 100% to a specific task. And in this case, we're talking about blocking time for you to use to complete Fiverr orders and to respond to Fiverr buyer messages. And if you got this far in the video and you're like, Mike, I don't use a calendar, you should. Download Google Calendar, use the iPhone calendar app, whatever. Start managing your day with a calendar so you can manage the time you're spending doing things like Fiverr. It's going to be really important. And as you get busier as a Fiverr seller, you really want to have a grasp of where you're spending your time. So as a starting point, depending on how busy you are and how many inquiries and orders you're getting, a good thing to consider is maybe before your workday starts, block 15 minutes every morning, and in that 15 minutes, your main focus is responding to buyer messages, people who are messaging you about your services. And depending on how many new messages you get throughout the day, you might want to throw in another 15-minute time block during your lunch hour just to make sure you're responding to people promptly. Obviously, tweak how much time you're allocating based on the interest you're getting. You don't want to just be sitting there for 15 minutes every day if you don't have any messages to respond to. The second thing that I do that you might want to consider is after work, set 1 hour time blocks 1, 2, 3, 4 times a week, recurring depending on your workload. So this is something I've actually modified throughout the years. Now I think I put like a 2-hour time block on Mondays. I'd have to check, I haven't been kind of on top of it myself lately, but I do like a 2-hour time block on a Monday and then an hour on a Wednesday. And all of my gig delivery timelines are long enough that I can hit and complete gigs in these different time blocks that I have recurring every week. And again, this is a moving target that's going to change based on your order volume and how long it takes you to complete certain projects. But starting and putting time blocks in your calendar is a great starting point to help you start getting aware of what's your Fiverr time and when is your job, family, or personal time. It's really important to separate the two, and it's going to help you with your productivity. And this actually brings me to the second point in this organization and time management strategy section of this video, and it has to do with time tracking. If you're going to be blocking time into your calendar to complete Fiverr orders, you should probably have a bit of an idea of how much time it takes you to complete certain types of orders. And how are you going to know that if you don't track your time? You're not going to know. So what I do is I keep a spreadsheet going. In this spreadsheet, I track the date I completed an order, the industry or business type the order was done for, the specific gig they ordered from me, how much I made, and most importantly, how much time it took me to complete that order for them. Once you've started tracking your orders over a period of time, you'll get a good feel for how long you need each week to complete Fiverr orders based on your historical past performance. Obviously, this is going to change as you get busier or less busier, but it's a great way to get in the habit of understanding where you're spending your time and which gigs take what amount of time. And the other really cool thing with tracking your time is, let's say, for example, you track all the gigs you complete for 6 months, and you notice one type of gig is much more profitable. You can complete them quicker and make more money for every minute you spend on your gig. And then the second type of gig takes a lot longer, you're making less money. You might use the data that you collect through tracking your gig completion to say, hey, I'm not going to offer those gigs that are not as profitable or yield as high a ROI on my time. I'm just going to focus on the gigs that do. That's another way that tracking is going to help you. It's going to allow you not only to figure out how much time you need to block to complete Fiverr orders, but it's going to allow you to know that you are spending your time on the most profitable activities as a Fiverr seller. And that's pretty important. Part 3 of this video, this part talks about Fiverr gig strategy. So by this point, I would hope that you've been thinking about the Fiverr mindset and what Fiverr means to you in your day-to-day. You've started thinking about blocking time in your calendar each week and tracking the amount of time you've spent on Fiverr. Now the last piece of the puzzle is implementing strategies in Fiverr to help you manage your time. So when I think about Fiverr gig strategies to help manage the amount of time I'm spending on a Fiverr gig, I think of 2 things. I think of the amount of time it takes me to deliver a Fiverr gig and the delivery window I'm giving myself on each Fiverr gig. So for example, let's say someone buys an email from me, how many days I give myself before the order needs to be delivered. And the second is the gig price. By increasing gig prices, after a certain point, it might influence the volume of orders you're getting. And that's something you can play with. So for example, in my Fiverr journey, I don't want to do a high volume of orders. I would rather do a lower volume of orders, but a higher value and higher cost per order. So I've consistently raised my prices to the point where I have a happy medium. I'm kind of in equilibrium. I'm getting enough orders to keep me as busy as I want to be, and I'm making as much as I want to make. So when it comes to Fiverr gig strategies, play around with these things. I would start with extending your Fiverr gig delivery timelines to allow yourself multiple days throughout the week to complete them. Because the reality is, with a full-time job, things happen. With a personal life or a family, things happen. If all of your gigs are set to 24-hour delivery, you don't have time for these things to happen because you're gonna hurt your Fiverr business. So play around with having gig delivery windows like 7 days, 5 days. Those are pretty standard for most of my gig packages, and that'll give you the time to complete your gigs in these time blocks you're slotting for yourself in your calendar to complete Fiverr gigs throughout the week. The other cool thing with this is if you start thinking, hey, I don't need to deliver everything in 24 hours, and you extend your delivery timelines, it creates an opportunity for you to sell expedited delivery options as a gig extra in all of your gigs, allowing you to make a little bit of extra money for the odd time someone needs something done really, really fast. And that's gonna help you be more profitable with your time. Anyways, these are 3 steps or 3 ways or 3 parts that you can consider to help you better manage your Fiverr business alongside a full-time job. If you do any of these things already, or if you have comments or questions about anything I talked about in this video, leave me a comment. I would be happy to chat and help you out in the comment section. So good luck. I hope you grow your side hustle fast and you make a ton of money selling on Fiverr. Thanks for watching, and until next time, cheers.